Good evening, Jackson Magnet parents. It brings me great pleasure to spend some time with you this evening and to soon be welcoming many of your children back on campus for in-person learning. I want to thank you very much for your patience, understanding, and support of our school staff throughout this pandemic. And I also recognize how incredibly challenging this past year has been for all of you as parents. As you have worked at your own jobs day in and day out, you also have been taking care of your own children, supervising them as they engaged in their daily lessons. On behalf of our entire staff at Jackson Magnet and the PUSD, I thank you for supporting your children with determination and love every day. Welcome to our Return to School orientation for students and families. This evening is meant to be an informational session to address many of your questions about the reopening of schools, including health and safety measures, educational programming, arrivals and departures to and from school, recess times, and other items important to the health and safety of all who enter our campus. So how did we get to this point? In a review of public policy, the California Blueprint for a Safer Economy has stated that elementary schools may begin with a phased reopening plan when the COVID-19 adjusted case rate for the county is at or below 25 cases per 100,000 people per day for at least 5 consecutive days. At this time, when the city of Pasadena is in Tier 2, meaning substantial spread or red, all schools are permitted to reopen if approved by the California Department of Health and the Pasadena Public Health Department for all students in any grades TK or preschool through 12. Schools open for in-person learning must also continue to offer 100% distance learning as an option for those families that prefer it. Student cohorts in pre-kindergarten, transitional kindergarten, kindergarten first and second grades will return to campus on Tuesday, April 13th, immediately after spring break. Grades 3 through 5 will return on Tuesday, April 20th. Early childhood educational programs will open at the same time as pre-K through second grade. The basis for success begins at home, where health and safety measures must take place before you and your children ever leave your house. Please adhere to the following measures every day. Perform a daily self-assessment before you come to school. Stay home if you are feeling sick. When arriving at school, travel to your designated entrance and exit at the end of the day. They will be the same. Your child will have his or her temperature checked, and school staff will ask him or her self-screening questions upon arrival. Wearing face masks will be a requirement for everyone on campus while in the building, hallways, and open work areas at all times. Students will be provided with face coverings if they do not have one, or an accommodation if medically necessary. Use the designated entrances and exits to check in and out each day. Please do not enter our campus by any other means. Remember the 3 W's for staying safe and healthy. Wash your hands or use hand sanitizer at your designated entrance throughout the day and when you exit our campus. Wear a face mask at all times, except when eating snacks outdoors. Watch your distance, 6 feet or more, between yourself and others. This is how to check for COVID-19 symptoms. Before leaving home, all students, employees, and parents must conduct a self-check. Ask yourself these questions. Do I have a fever? Do I have a cough? Am I experiencing shortness of breath or difficulty breathing? Am I experiencing any other symptom? Have I been in contact with someone who has tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 14 days? If you have a fever with a cough or shortness of breath, you will be presumed to have COVID-19. Students, their families, and employees should contact their primary care physician for further medical advice. To protect others, stay home if you are not feeling well. I hope you enjoy the brief video presentation. The Pasadena Unified School District and our school site has equipped our schools with the tools needed for optimal health and safety while on campus, including fewer students on campus at one time, limiting non-essential visitors, conducting daily temperature and symptom checks for all students and employees, requiring and providing all necessary face coverings and personal protective equipment, adding hand sanitizer and dispensing stations at key locations on campus, building in time within the school day for frequent hand washing and sanitizing, staggering recess and nutrition breaks on campus for physical distancing, adding directional and informational signs throughout the school, enhanced daily cleaning and disinfecting protocols each evening with documentation recorded on cleaning logs, reconfiguring classrooms to maintain physical distancing, installing plexiglass barriers for teachers at their workstations or desks, placing upgraded filters in air conditioning units, adding commercial-grade portable high-efficiency particulate air purifiers in all classrooms as pictured on this slide, following all protocols for quarantining and contact tracing, offering COVID-19 vaccines to all employees, and scheduling COVID-19 surveillance testing. The 3 W's are an easy way to remember the basics in keeping ourselves and others safe. Wash your hands. Wear a face covering. Watch your distance. I hope you enjoy the 3 videos explaining each W and its importance. The first one demonstrates the proper way to wash your hands. The second W, wear a face mask. All students and employees are required to wear face masks as directed by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. According to the CDC, a cloth face mask must have at least 2 layers of breathable fabric. Face masks will be provided on campus for students who need them. Parents are instructed to ensure that children have clean face masks every day. On this slide, you can find where to go for more information regarding the use of face coverings. I hope you enjoy the second video. The third W is watch. Watch your distance. Practice the physical distance requirement of 6 feet from others and view the video describing this important strategy for keeping safe and healthy.
Whenever you meet a friend on the street, greet but stay away 6 feet. They may request a hug or a kiss, but on social distance you must insist. 6 feet, you say, to keep away? Try these to know how far to stay. A door on the floor, a lion that roars, your dad in a hat, a mat laying flat, the comfy couch in which you slouch, a bike for Mike to catch up to Ike, 3 skateboards lined up, or a very big pup are things you can find to keep distance in mind. Staying 6 feet away doesn't mean you can't wave, or sing, or dance, or carouse and sway. You're just being a pal to the guys and gals. 6 feet away keeps you safe when you play.
Physical distancing will be encouraged on campus by following the appropriate protocol. Allowing a limited number of students on campus. Allowing access on campus to site staff only, except for essential workers who are performing needed tasks. Identifying entrance and exit points and protocols. Insisting that all adults stay 6 feet from one another and from children. Teaching students routines and procedures that will facilitate their staying 6 feet from one another as practicable. Arranging classroom furniture to allow at least 6 feet between the teacher's desk and between each student. Asking parents to engage in remote appointments as much as possible. Identifying 2 arrival and departure zones. As pictured, the arrival and departure zone 1 will be for kindergarten and first grade students at the front of the school on Woodbury Road. I am currently working with LA County to have the curb in front of our school painted as a loading zone only. Arrival and departure zone 2 will be used for the 2nd through 5th grade at the drop-off zone on Casitas Avenue, entering at the southern driveway and exiting at the driveway to the north. At both zones, parents follow the car in front of them to the end of the drop-off and wait for a greeter to attend to each child and take his or her temperature. The greeter will also assign each child to the appropriate screener on the playground. Once on the playground, assigned staff will supervise the students and keep them physically distant as they await their teachers. Heightened supervision will be available. In order to address the needs of the students at home and at school at the same time, PUSD schools will be following the simultaneous learning model. The simultaneous learning model is a group or cohort of students that is physically in the classroom with their teacher while a group of their classmates participates in classes via distance learning. In-person learners will watch their teachers navigate a web camera, laptop, and Chromebook. The classrooms will be reconfigured to meet health and safety protocols. Everyone in class will be required to wear face masks, and students will bring their Chromebooks to school every day. Distance learners will continue to learn from home. They will see their teachers wear face masks and have the opportunity to interact with their in-person classmates. Both in-person and virtual learners will have the same start and dismissal times, 8 o'clock a.m. through 12:55 p.m. On Mondays, all students will engage in asynchronous learning, and it is important that they complete all the assignments their teachers have prepared for them. On Tuesdays through Fridays, students will be engaged in synchronous learning, meaning that instruction will be live. In-person students will have the opportunity to be on campus a minimum of 2 days. We will send each student's assigned schedules to parents and guardians on Monday, March 29th. More detailed information regarding simultaneous learning is available on the PUSD webpage you can access by clicking on the link on this slide. Let's take a look at what a typical day will look like when students return to our campus.
With students returning to Pasadena Unified campuses as soon as public health conditions allow, we want to assure our parents that we take the safety of your child with the utmost seriousness and consideration. This video will walk you through a day in the life of a student when our schools reopen for in-person learning. Our goal is to provide them with a stellar education while also protecting them and our faculty and staff during the COVID-19 pandemic. Students who opted to remain in distance learning will continue to log in on their devices for the normal school day, just as they did this fall. They'll see their teachers and classmates who have opted for in-person learning. The rest of this video is a glimpse into how school will be different for students who choose to return to campus.
Before you and your child arrive, please complete a self-assessment of their current health at home. Do they have a fever? Do they have a cough? Are they experiencing shortness of breath or difficulty breathing? Are they experiencing any other symptoms? Have they been in contact with someone who has tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 10 days? In the last 2 weeks, have they been in close contact with someone who has COVID-19? If they are feeling sick or experiencing any of these symptoms, do not bring your child to school. Notify the school office.
When you drop your student off at their school, please remind them to put on their mask and leave it on for the remainder of the day. It's very important to demonstrate to them how the mask should fully cover their mouth, nose, and chin. If they hurried out of the house without a mask, that's okay. We'll have a mask waiting for them at the main entrance. Before your student heads to their first class, they will need to get screened for symptoms and grab a few pumps of hand sanitizer. Hallway traffic will now be going in a one-way direction. Reminders from both staff and posted signs will help ensure physical distancing. It's best to explain to your student that giving each other room is one of the best ways to keep their friends or themselves from getting sick. In the classrooms, the desks are going to be spread out. There will be a distance between the teacher and all the students. Even if their teacher is keeping a physical distance, they are fully present to provide support and encouragement for your students' learning. When using the restroom, only one student will be allowed in at a time. The stalls and sinks will be regularly cleaned. Students will have regularly scheduled times to wash their hands. Everyone should wash their hands for 20 seconds with soap and water before and after eating, after coughing or sneezing, after sharing items in class, before and after using the restroom. Since keeping hands germ-free is so important, there will be sanitizing stations spread around the school. Water fountains will be covered or converted to hand-washing stations, so please send your student to school with a filled water bottle from home to ensure proper hydration throughout the day.
Lunch will be grab and go and will be distributed at the end of the day.
PUSD facilities workers have installed new ventilation systems and heavy-duty filters. The staff is working hard to protect students and staff with deep cleaning and sanitizing of spaces, surfaces, and objects throughout the day and between uses. Each day, it's crucial for our students to remember the 3 W's. They are: wear your mask, wash and sanitize your hands often, and watch your distance. It might take a moment to get used to these changes, but we know everyone can come together to go the distance and make this year a success for in-person learning. PUSD is stronger together. We're PUSD proud.
Our hybrid of remote and in-person settings will begin in a phased manner, meaning that we plan to welcome back on campus pre-K through 2nd grade and 3rd through 5th grade students in a staggered return transitions. All students will be rostered with teachers in a ratio of 14:2, 14 students to 2 adults, or 15 students to 1 adult, depending on classroom space. Instructional simultaneous schedules will remain as is to create a stable environment for both in-person students and distance learning students. Specialized service and electives will remain virtual, including the science lab, music classes, Garden School Foundation lessons, and any instruction provided by PUSD and Jackson Magnet partnerships. PUSD will continue to offer 100% distance learning opportunities to students whose families prefer it. The hybrid simultaneous learning module will feature stable group structures. Students and staff will be kept in stable groups with a fixed membership. Cohorts of students will either attend daily in Cohort O online or physically in a Cohort A or B if needed. To explain further, Cohort A shall be on campus for live in-person instruction Tuesdays through Fridays, and Cohort O shall be online for live synchronous instruction Tuesdays through Fridays. Cohort B shall be created should the number of students requesting in-person instruction exceed the number of students permitted on campus or in each classroom space. In such cases, cohorts A and B will rotate between in-person and online learning, either coming to school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays or Thursdays and Fridays. Mondays will be a remote learning day for students and a remote work day for all teachers and staff to allow for planning, professional development, and collaboration among colleagues in a virtual setting. I know that a question in the minds of many parents and students is, what will recess be like in elementary schools? During recess, students will stay with cohorts under heightened supervision. Recesses will be outdoors as much as possible, and at one identified recess period, students will be allowed to eat a snack brought from home. Students will be taught the procedures to facilitate physical distancing and engage in structured play. Meals will be grab and go and include lunch, supper, breakfast, and a snack. Students will take their lunches as they go through the exit gates at either Woodbury or Casitas and maintain 6 feet distancing in line. Students will need to eat breakfast at home in the morning. Drive-through grab-and-go meals will continue to be distributed daily from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for students who remain in remote learning. Snacks will be eaten on outdoor benches with cohorts per grade level during morning recess without any mingling of students from different classrooms. Students can bring snacks from home to eat at morning outdoor recess time, including the snack provided in their meal bag if desired. Past, we have had many visitors and volunteers on campus, but while COVID restrictions are in place, we will need to follow new visitor and volunteer policies. As a preventive measure, visitors to PUSD schools will be limited to the essential workers needed to operate. Parents are encouraged to conduct business with school personnel remotely when possible. However, as there will be times when parents and other visitors need to be on site, the following protocols will be enforced. Visits will be allowed on campus by appointment only and for specific purposes. Visitors must sign in using a visitor log that includes their name, phone number, and email address. They are advised to come to appointments alone. If not possible, the additional visitor must also sign in. All visitors must wear face covering at all times while in PUSD schools and offices. This concludes our presentation, and I'd like to thank all of you for your attentiveness. Thank you y muchas gracias. For more information regarding the COVID safety plan of the Pasadena Unified School District, you can visit the web pages found on this slide. Are there any questions?